Wow, it's been a minute. Boys and girls, I know I haven't been very active on the old STP. We had no names mentioned. We had him on last week, kind of feeling STP thing. So I reached out to one of our favorites in this area, across the country. One of our favorites, right in front of us, boys and girls. This is Stirring the Pot with Doc and Cade, and our very special guest, one Traevon Jordan. Thank you so much for joining the show, my man. I am tickled to see you, my
Of
friend.
course. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Kincaid. It's been quite some time. Before you joined on the call and everything, you had said it's been 3 years since our last interview. 3 years. You
I'm
were
sorry.
like my first podcast, I think. So I have to reconnect with you. I feel like the whole comeback journey is about relearning and reliving your roots. So
Mhm,
why
mhm.
not just start right back on stirring the pot and get really
Oh,
back to that first base level and get in touch with that old Traevon and get back in touch with my man King Kincaid.
you're gonna make me cry, Traevon. Don't do that. Don't do
Let okay. I'm
that.
emotional all day. I'll cry too.
Well, I do know that you have been through, I'll just call it a whirlwind, a tornado, a hurricane of life events in the
Oh
past
yeah.
year or two. Plus, the past 3 years since we've spoken with yourself. And boys and girls, I do not want to leave this beautiful young gentleman out. One half of the tag team here, Waves and Curls. The other half, one Jalen
Mm,
Brandon. And I know we've spoken together on STP before. And I do not want
yeah.
to leave out my man Jalen because Jalen is in my heart as much as Traevon is. Um,
Love to hear.
but I really thought this was a great time, maybe in your life and your career, where you could get an interview and maybe sit down and talk to the fans. And I was kind of thinking we could maybe go through a little timeline of Trayvon Jordan's career, his life, because in the past couple of years, because holy moly, boys and girls, my man, along with Jalen, but they've risen so quickly. And I think we even spoke about that 3 years ago. And I'm going to start right there because I remember something very vividly that I asked you. At that point, and 3 years being in April of 2020 that we last spoke, one of the questions that I asked you was, how many matches do you guys think you have under your belts right now? And at that time, and I'm not going to repeat the question, but I just kind of give a little perspective. At that time, you said probably about 10 matches.
Wow.
Yes. Now, the reason why I bring this up, because the
Yeah.
popularity, and I brought this up as well, the popularity of Waves and Curls absolutely exploded organically. I mean, you guys come out and do your thing. We take the ride with you,
Yeah.
but it happened very organically and very quickly. Okay. And I've talked about this to some of the fans, yourself in this conversation with some others. And
Yeah.
I've talked to actually some of the wrestlers as well. Sometimes that fast rise is a detriment to your career. Um, but not in the likes of Waves and Curls. And that has not happened one bit. You guys just kept going, gaining more steam. I don't know how that happens because you guys were on fire way back then, 3 years ago. Um, at this point, and we're gonna, go through many other things. Are you feeling that rise? Has that been a detriment to your career because now there's a little bit more pressure to really perform at a higher level continually, every single show?
I think that's an excellent question. First and foremost, thank you so much for noticing, that Kincaid and for giving us that love, and to each and every fan for always supporting us and giving us that love every time we enter out of the curtain or enter into a ring. Um, we do our best with every match that we have, with every performance, to give our all, and just like we said probably in the past, is just to exude love, to bring the party with us and to make sure everyone's having a good time. And if you have that first and foremost in your heart, there's no way we can fail together because we're not doing it by ourselves. It's not just me and Jalen in there. It's not just our opponents. We really bring everybody in there with us. Like that's the most important thing. Like whenever we have a big match or we win a title or anything like that, we always bring the fans inside the ring with us because that's what's most important. So yes, as you know, you rise in popularity and as you get more notoriety and go on stages like WWE, AEW, Beyond Wrestling, Limitless Wrestling, more big Northeast wrestling shows, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And, you know, sometimes it can get to you, but you have to center yourself and focus and try to remember exactly what you got into this for, which is to entertain people and to make sure they're having a good time. And if you go into it with that mindset, it's okay to bring upon yourself the challenge and the burden of, gotta perform, gotta, you know, have a good time. But it's also, I'm here to respect everyone else's time. You know, there's a mother and father who probably come to the show who are paying for a babysitter and having a good night out. There's a child who just had a great week of school and their parents rewarded them with a ticket to the show. So it's my job to make sure that they have a great time and that I respect their time when I'm inside of the ring because that's the most important thing. Without you guys, we have nothing. So I have, that's such a intimate and delicate thing that people are giving you their time. So you have to give them something, whether it's, you know, a 5-star banger, as they say, or just making sure that they have fun. You know, you have to read the crowd and see what they want that night. So we try to do our best to, you know, fulfill that and give you guys whatever it is you guys really need. Think of it like we're doctors and you guys are handing us your prescription. Like, here's what we want. All right, well, let's give it to you. That's perfectly fine. Use the doctor analogies because I talk to a bunch of doctors nowadays. So yeah.
Some of those prescriptions are very powerful. Be careful, boys and girls. Oh, um,
That's
you know,
that's right.
you set that perfectly because I say it every single interview that I've ever had from one to this being about 348 or 349 now. I'm trying to reach that 400. It's been a minute, my friend. It's really been a minute. But I'd really like to hit that 400 mark and have a little celebration. But every single interview I've ever spoken to a talent on, the relationship between us and you is so
Yeah.
vital in the whole event, the whole,
Hmm.
and I'll use the word performance, your athletic
Yeah.
abilities. Yes, we wow at that, but we also like the entertainment value of wrestling because wrestling isn't always two girls, two guys getting in a ring and going toe to toe to have maybe a said 5-star banger. But the entertainment value, it's not a missed piece of the puzzle in nowadays wrestling because wrestling has evolved in so many ways. But you
For
guys
sure.
personally, never have I not seen you always bring it 1,000%. Your energy,
Thank
and we all know, boys and girls, when you have a crappy day at work, you have a crappy day at school, and you go to these events, I don't know what it is. There's like this magic field or something. For me personally, and I know it's just not me, I've heard it from many, many fans and wrestlers alike. There's this magical field. Once you get to said event, you pull in the parking lot, you start seeing the crowd, you might see some familiar faces,
Yeah.
all that stuff behind, you know?
That's right.
And that relationship that we have, you nailed it, man. We bring it, you bring it, we bring it together, and it's
Yep.
magic. And it's always magic when Waves and Curls comes out. Oh my goodness. And boys and girls, listen to me say, if you have not heard of Mr. Traevon Jordan or Mr. Jalen Brand, please, please look them up. They got a Waves and Curls page. It's spelled just like you would think it, Waves and Curls. They have their own
Hmm.
pages. We'll go over that later on. You know, we like to push this stuff. But
Yep.
I want to just put that out there right now because if you have not seen Waves and Curls in action or either separately and singles, do yourself a favor. Look this stuff up as we give it to you, okay? Because you're missing out. And that entertainment value, the in ring, the you guys are such good guys. You're beyond good guys. There's something. There's like a little bubble for Waves and Curls. I feel because you guys are beyond good guys. There's something about you that we've grasped
Thank
onto like magnetically, Klingon, if you will, not to bring out the Star
you.
Trek, but I'm just
Totally.
really trying to reiterate the fun, the energy, and whatnot that you guys really do bring us, and we reciprocate when you walk out through that curtain. And I thank you so much as a fan, because not all of the boys and girls out there do that, and I can't thank you enough as a fan.
Thank you, Kincaid. That means the world to me. I have no idea. So thank you. It really means a lot coming for you, Kincaid.
Thank you. Now, again, I wanted to bring you on here because I thought it was a great time in your life right now. I haven't been doing much. I was thinking, shooting for the stars. Let's get Traevon.
Okay.
So why not? At this time in your life, you've been through so much, and that's kind of what I wanted to maybe sift through. If that's okay, we could dig a little deep. The
Let's
past
do
couple
it.
years of one Traevon Jordan, yeah?
Stir the pot. Let's do it.
Oh, we don't want to do that. That's what this guy's for. We don't want to do that. You are familiar with this guy by chance, aren't you?
Yeah. I've seen that guy once or twice before.
Okay,
I know that guy.
Okay, don't say his name. We don't like to say his name. So let's go back a bit. Waves and curls on fire wherever you go. Promotion to promotion, house to house, event to event, fan base to fan base. It does not matter. You guys just draw them in no matter where you go. Perfect wrestler, if you will. Because without us and without you and that magic that we were just speaking of, what the hell's the point? Don't sit on your hands. You don't want to be quiet. You go there to have fun and get away from the stuff,
That's right.
So let's go back. Waves and curls on fire wherever you go. I did notice Traevon kind of went on a little singles thing here and won Northeast Wrestling. Please tell us, how does that happen? Because you guys were such a hot tag team. And not only that, aren't you guys still tag team champions in one Northeast Wrestling?
That's right. We are still currently the reigning Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Champions. There's a little bit of something that prevents me from defending my championship currently at this time, but there is someone who is filling in for me at this current moment, which we can definitely get into as we go along the timeline.
Yes, because I've been wanting to say just those two names together, Waves, and I can't wait to say it.
It's a whole trio. Not a lot of people know that, but it is a whole trio. It's Waves and Curls, and we've done the trios match before, and we're definitely a trios team.
Come on!
Times we're gonna keep doing it. It's always a great time when all three of us get together. But we'll go down that path and talk about that when we get there.
Okay.
But as far as
you go singles.
That's right. I went singles. So it was, I believe, August, where Jalen Brandon couldn't make it to a show. He had some family commitments that he had to do. So I was gifted the opportunity to wrestle as a singles, and I hadn't done it in quite some time. And there was a singles opportunity I had gotten earlier in the year. I was asked about, but I didn't take it up because I was like, I want to focus on tag team wrestling right now. But I saw this moment in August to really challenge myself and say, okay, I know I can do the tag team thing. I know I love being a tag team wrestler. Tag team wrestling is my core, but let me challenge myself and see how I can do in the singles world. So I got the opportunity to enter a #1 contenders battle royal for Northeast Wrestling. I believe it was
over the top.
Oh no, it wasn't over the top. It was I think it was Homecoming. I'm pretty sure. One of the two. But yeah, I had gotten that opportunity and was able to eliminate just about 20 other men and become the #1 contender for the Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. Something I personally never thought would ever happen. It was a 1 in a million shot, and I just managed to tee everything up right and get it in a hole in one, which was insane to me. But anything, like I said, is possible with the power of the people on your side. And I try to make sure that people are with me at every moment. So without us, you can't defeat the village. So I won that #1 contendership. And then I had a match that next month at Northeast Wrestling Destiny against one Danny Maff, one of the toughest competitors.
Oh, okay, pause. Pas Jose, as they say in French. Pas Jose. Please, sir, you and I've seen this, okay, on the old face page and stuff. I'm watching the medias and whatnot, and I see this in front of my eyes. And I got to be honest, 2 words came to mind. Holy shit. You are going against Dan Maff. I mean, the dude is as big as my house. He's as thick as my house. He's a gigantic, enormous person, human. I don't even think he's human. I think he's some kind of an evolved dinosaur of some kind. I don't know. He's just a phenomena of a human being that I've never seen the likes of before. You see him in front of you, and I didn't mean to interrupt, but I mean, holy cow, sir. What a task ahead of you. Please continue.
Yeah, it's goes back to a video I had put out. It's you start at the base of a mountain and you work your way up from there. I knew it was going to be a large task facing Dan Maff. I knew he wasn't going to take it easy on me. He'd been the reigning champ at that point for over 900 days, going on closing in on 1,000.
Wow.
So there was no stopping the man. And it's like you get a grand prize and you realize that you got to slay a dragon in order to get there. It's like the hugest goalpost in the world that you have to kick something through, and it was hard. But I knew my mentality going into it was train harder than ever, be prepared for anything, expect the unexpected, because when he gets going, and I have to match that same energy, you know? So we went into the match at Destiny, and I gave it my everything, and he threw everything but the kitchen sink at me, and he probably threw the kitchen sink at me too. I just can't remember it. I can't remember it, but that match ended a no contest because we're going at it. I mean, everyone inside the building, the fans, the wrestlers in the back, everyone was so invested in what we were doing, and we were just nonstop going at it. And I go to the top, I hit the big whisper in the wind, which I added to my repertoire,
Wow.
Hit him with that. And then we go 1, 2. Vito pulls the referee out of the ring and clocks the referee.
I hate Vito. I hate that Vito.
He's so nefarious, but you know what? I have an answer to him every time, and it's that my mom would kick him in the neck if he ever stepped to me again. So, perfectly fine.
I might want to name the episode that. Mama Jordan gonna kick Vito in the neck.
That's a great name for the episode. Definitely get a ride with Vito. I know that for sure. The whole Jordan family has a rivalry with Vito and Dan Maff, so it's not just me by myself, He pulls the referee out of the ring, and then, they had this kendo stick with them, and I was a little upset at the time, so I grabbed the kendo stick and I just start wailing on Dan Maff. I just lost, complete blackout, and just start whipping him with the whole kendo stick. He rolls out of the ring. Out from the back comes the owner of Northeast Wrestling, Michael Lombardi, and he says, "All right, you guys want to fight? You guys really want to go all out?" And the fans go, "Yeah, we want them to fight. Let them fight. Restart the match." And he goes, "I have one better for you. How about next month we return the show with no name? We haul a Singapore cane from this pole and from the pole across the ring. Singapore cane match for the Northeast Wrestling Championship."
Okay, let's do another Pahuse. Very, very out of character for one Traevon Jordan to be wielding and swinging around and hitting people with a kendo stick, a Singapore cane, if you will. Wait, you lost your mind, my friend.
Just a little bit. Everyone always, thinks of us as, party, fun, have a great time. That's who at our core and our essential. But if you push us a little bit over the edge, you just might find out what's on the other side of that. It's just like, Jalen Brandon's getting a little bit of work done on him inside the ring, and I'm waiting on the apron for him to get on over to me. That's my brother in there. I got to save him. And in my mind, Maff violated my family in that match. So anything goes. It's time to get to whacking with the Singapore cane. You can have your fun, but sometimes you gotta switch it up just a little bit and remind everybody just who you really are.
Okay. Self note with a colon. Don't F with Traevon Jordan because he might hit you with a Singapore cane. Duly noted. Check. Okay, got that. Okay, I did not mean to interrupt. But now we have the Singapore cane on a pole match. Is that what you just said?
That's right. We have a Singapore cane match. Northeast Wrestling, the show with no name. Once again, me versus Danny Maff. And if we went hard the first match, The second match was on a completely different level. This was two men vying for the top prize in the Northeast region for the top company and
Oh,
really wanting to, solidify our legacies,
mhm.
him as continuing on to over 1,000 days and me coming up out of nowhere with pretty much some people thought I'd die in that first match and I survived and on top and became the man who survived, the man who was unconquerable.
Huh?
And now people are like, okay, if he survived, then what else can he do?
Right. The mindset going into number 2 here, the Singapore Canes. First off, are these shows, these events that you are, fighting Mr. Maff
Mm-hmm.
at Bethany, Northeast Wrestling?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Big Bethany Arena.
That's their boys and girls, if you don't know. Northeast Wrestling, that's where they have their home shows, if you will. That's where they call
That's
their home shows over at Bethany. Holds about 250, 300 or so, if I'm correct, around
right.
there.
And it was packed out that night too, so
Yeah.
everyone rallied.
The mindset going into number 2. Did you have to do anything different to really get into this? Because now this ain't no regular old match. And not that you expected to use a Singapore cane by the end of that match, number 1. But number 2, you see this buildup of, you're going against this guy again, this beast, if you will. But it's a whole different environment. It's a whole new world. That's not just a regular old match. Did you have to go in with a different mindset?
I did entirely. It's like when you're a kid and your mom says, "Don't touch the stove," and you go and you touch the stove and you got a burn on your hand. You got to check that. And I knew me going up to Dan Maff and whacking him with a cane, and now canes are legal inside the match. I know I'd have to deal with some lashings and get some. He's gonna try to get some payback on me.
Yes,
So
that's the bad part.
yeah, that's the bad part. But I knew for as hard as he hits me, I gotta hit him back even harder.
Okay.
And I had the championship within my grasp the last time, and this time it wasn't gonna get away from me, no matter what. Whether it was
Okay.
trying to lay him down with a choke slam, getting off the top rope with the frog splash, or even, just rolling him up. Because sometimes it doesn't take the hardest blow. Sometimes it just takes
Oh,
catching somebody on off time.
yeah.
So that's the story of the match. We fought around relentlessly. He was tired. I was tired. He tore me around. He tried to, hurt me in front of my family. Vito threw popcorn in front of my family. So
That's
he
not
gets his
nice.
cane. That's not at all. So I
No.
grabbed the cane and I started whacking on his boy. That's right.
Oh,
I started whacking with that Singapore cane. Bang,
thank you.
boom, bang. Absolutely. I had to get it done. And then, Vito tried to come inside the ring and he tried to, take me out again. And luckily, Brian Anthony was there and they have a history together. And Brian Anthony came down and chased Vito away, which opened
Oh,
up for me to hit a frog splash. One, two, nothing there, because not just two, because Maff, he has just this resiliency to him where he's been in the game before. He's been in that predicament. He's so big. He just he had the resolve to just kick out of that, which I've won matches with the frog splash before. So it's like, all right, well, what else do I have? And as soon as I thought, what else do I have? I turn around and he's just wailing on me. He's attacking me with the cane, going just an uncomfortable amount. I came home the day after and I had just welts and bruises all over my body from the cane. And he hits me with this one time. That's right. Yeah,
could
you're gonna
could
say
you just could you describe to the fans? And I hate to
yeah.
pause you there, but could you describe to the fans what it's like? Because when we go there,
Yeah.
some of us like to bring people that maybe haven't been to a wrestling thing in a while or haven't even gone at all. And sometimes they leave there with still a misconception of, it's blah, 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 and they're just blah, blah, blah. Please
Yeah.
describe to us, the fans, what does it feel like to get hit? Not only what does it feel like to get hit by with a Singapore cane, but by Dan Maff. I mean, he's like a beast. I could never even want to feel that, and you felt multiple. How does that feel, please?
Words fall short of the power that's in that man's hand. It's it's a wailing like no other. Imagine, if you will, back in the olden days, parents used to say, "Oh, go get a switch from the tree," and you grab a little thin one, and they come back in with an even bigger one. That's what a Singapore cane shot feels like, and
Okay.
especially when they reel it all the way back and get the momentum, and they just smacking the snapping on the skin. You can immediately feel a red welt raise on your skin. There's cuts that open up. You can feel the air going along all those cuts as it's bleeding. Everything stings and goes numb for a second. That's what a Singapore cane shot feels like. Just that snap and ripple. You can feel the flesh open up and feel everything start tingling. It's not an easy thing to have happen to you, and it's something you probably never want to come across, inside of
So,
ring or outside.
so you just signed on a dotted line for a Singapore cane match. Okay.
I was very impulsive at the time, and I really wanted to. I'd say
Again,
probably not the same thing. Probably not.
I didn't mean to interrupt as you're going through the match, but I really want the fans to feel like this is legitimate stuff, boys and girls. This is not, as I say, this is not ballet.
No,
It's go time, and when they go toe to toe, it's legitimately toe to toe. So you're getting the beat piss out of you with a Singapore cane. Please continue.
yep. Get everything beat out of me with the Singapore cane. My mom screaming in the background, "Trey, get up!" My family screaming. All the fans, who I consider family as well, are screaming at the top of their lungs for me to get up, and I hear them, and it slowly realizes and wakes me up of the situation I'm in. Because at first I'm just like, I'm just getting wailed on. I don't even remember where I'm at. And then the one mistake that he made is he hit me with the senton, and
Oh,
normally that takes all the air out of you. But for
okay.
some reason, it gave me my oxygen back. I could breathe for a second because I got a break from the Singapore cane shots.
Wow.
And I look over, and he's just making faces at my family, and he gives me one of the lay down pins, nice and lackadaisical. And then one of the first things you learn in wrestling training is
With
pin,
the leg.
crucifix pin. Let's do it. Here it is, elementary stuff. Hit it. 1, 2, and the 3. All it takes is 3 seconds. That's it. It takes those 3 seconds. And I was able to surprise everyone inside the building, everyone at home, and won the championship. I surprised myself even. I couldn't
Wow.
believe the 3 count was made, but the biggest and the baddest, all it takes is 3 seconds.
Wow. Uh, First off, thank you so much for taking us on that journey, building up to you winning that, and we're going to continue.
Of
But
course, absolutely. And if they want to
we,
check that out, they can go on the Northeast Wrestling High Spots, go to High Spots Wrestling Network and check that out. See both of those matches and watch the whole journey of me winning the Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. That's northeastwrestling.pivotshare.com.
wow, plug, boys and girls. Good marketer right there. Yay for Jordan. Um,
Thank you.
Now, I always, not every time, but I've asked this question multiple times, and I usually get the very similar answer from everyone. During the match, this is number 2 now. During the match, and I mean, emotions are running beyond high because now they're mocking you with your family. They're messing with
Mhm.
vetoes, throwing popcorn and stupid crap like that. Um,
Yeah.
Emotions are just beyond high right now. Things are really out of hand. You guys are hurting each other with weaponry inside the Bethany homestead over there.
Yeah.
That build up as you're working in that match number 2. Do you hear
Mhm.
us responding to what's going on as you're going through this match?
Yes. Every single time.
Really?
Um, yes, I do. I
Wow.
hear probably everything you guys say as I'm in there, especially in the moments where I'm getting the tar kicked out of me. Then I like, get up. And I'm just like, I'm trying. I'm really trying, but he's a strong dude. But
He's a big
I
guy.
hear it. Yeah. So, fans, you making noise, you guys chanting matters.
Okay.
You guys, it's inspired me to keep moving, one step forward at a time. When I say everyone's in there with me, it's every punch, every kick, every movement, it's all powered and inspired by you guys. So I hear everything. I hear the good stuff. I hear the junk talking. I hear everything. Whether it's at P or if it's at, Vito and Maff, I hear everything.
That was actually part of a two-parter, because usually the answer would be, I don't hear everything. I kind of hear it in bits and pieces because, I'm doing my thing in the ring, and sometimes you just get so lost in there. You don't even hear anything, literally, but except for you, your opponent, and possibly the referee at times, because you're just so lost in that moment in time and whatnot, and you're in your zone. But you're hearing us through the match. Now, part two, once you get that 3 count, obviously you lose your mind, the crowd loses their mind. The hairs, just talking about, and I wasn't even there live, boys and girls, just talking about, I can envision one Traevon Jordan pinning Dan Maff and Bethany losing their ever-loving mind there. And again, I've seen footage, more pictures, little clips, if you will. At that moment, the 3 count, you're like emotions running even higher than they were previously. I just became the Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. The fans, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap, he just beat Dan Maff. Yeah. So both the fan base and Traevon are doing a holy crap moment all together at once. Please take us on a journey for those few minutes right when the 3 happened. And I know people come at Bethany, they come running right up to that ring. They do their thing, and they really bring you and lift you even higher. And emotions go like beyond up into the stars at that point. And then they want to take pictures after and so forth. And I know you love to take the time with the fans. So please, from the 3 count until not when you even left, but, take us on the next 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes or so, your emotions and everybody coming at you and everybody wanting to celebrate with you, please.
Yeah, it was when the 3 count hit, I couldn't believe it myself. And I go back and watch the clip all the time, and everyone jumps up immediately to their feet and is chanting and screaming and crying, but we're all like stuck for just a second because we can't believe what just happened. And then as soon as my tag partner, Jalen Brandon, runs down the ramp, that's when everything kind of snaps back into reality for me. And the first 2 guys who came down were Jalen Brandon and Love Doug, 2 guys who are my training brothers who have been with me throughout everything. Like the 3 of us would ride in cars everywhere together when we first started. And to have those 2 be the first ones down there to me means the absolute world to me. And then after that comes, my older training brother, John Roy, who's been the one who motivates us and who teaches us, all the ins and outs of the business and how to carry ourselves. He's the one who taught us how to do that. He's the one who came down and greeted me. And then after that, some of my other peers, the Kylon King, the Dustin Waller, which those guys doing phenomenal right now. I see you got his shirt on, the current Chokeslam champion of NFW. They're doing their thing right now. So I'm immensely proud of all those men who I've mentioned just now. And then more friends keep running down. And then my trainer, the one and only Matt Traevon, comes and runs down to me. Love that man. Oh, hold on one second, Don Kincaid. What is going on here? Phone's buzzing and ringing.
Really?
All right, never mind. Everyone comes running on down. I'll answer them later, give them a call. Everyone comes running on down. I'm like, all right, what's going on? And then Traevon comes, and I'm just like, oh, even more waterworks are running down my face because that's the man who trained us, and I'm there with all my brothers in arms, all my brothers in training, and it's just a magical moment. They lift me up on their shoulders, and I still can't believe everything that happened. My mom comes into the ring, the one who raised me up and made sure, I became the man that she knew I could be and the man who I was destined to become. She always believed. She always told me that she's going to push me and motivate me to go to wherever I'd like to in life. And she's the one who really really inspired me to go on the journey. You know, my sister was there, an older sister, my protector, my confidant, my everything. She was there for me at that time. You know, my father was there as well too. You know, who took me to all the wrestling shows growing up, who gave me nothing but love and always, you know, taught me, you know, everything it was about, you know, trying to be a leader and trying to, no matter, even if you make a mistake and fumble, you can always recover and try to put your best foot forward. You know, um, it was a super emotional night having all these pillars in my life who were there along the journey each and every step of the way. And not only my family, but fans like, you know, Robert and Lillian, who she's been a fan of ours ever since she was like this tall, like 3, 4 years old. Now she's this 7 going on 8 year old who's playing soccer, and you know, we're growing up with these people and building these core relationships with all of them. And it's just a beautiful thing. You got Jess Girl and her son there, Rylan. You got Liv, and you got Sam, and you got everybody who's been there with us, and you got Mira. Can't forget Mira as well too. But all these people who have become staple fans, you know, staple family members to us, all there rejoicing in this moment that we all got to together. You know, it was the same as when we won the Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Championships last year. It was just a summarization of all the hard work and dedication that we had put in and everything that we had really sacrificed to get there. Um, Voice is cracking up. Let's try to bring it back in because I've done enough. I did so much trying, but it was such a tumultuous and not easy journey. You know, you stumble and fumble along the way. You know, you take 2 steps forward. Sometimes you take 3 steps backwards. You know, you make all these advances, but sometimes in life we make mistakes, and you know those things weigh on you. But you have to try to continue forward and press forward, no matter what your mistakes are. You have to remember your mistakes don't define you. It's about how you move forward from those and try to learn from these experiences. Um, and it was all these things that had caught me up. I was just wrapped up in them all and embraced everything I was feeling and was able to really share that moment with the crowd. And they all came into the ring with us and we're dancing and we're doing our thing and we're celebrating. And, you know, we get to the back and I just do, you know, big hug with everyone who I was with, you know, growing up, training inside, you know, the XWA Wrestling Academy and just really soaking that moment in because it's I had always dreamed of, you know, holding championships in wrestling, you know, tag team championships, intercontinental championship, which was the title of the last episode that we did together. Those were always my goals because I felt those were the achievable ones. I never thought I could be, you know, that number one guy. I didn't know if I had that in me. And it took having a village around me to know this is my unique way of being that guy. It's not just me by myself. And I mentioned it when I won the title, and I mentioned it when I had to, you know, later on down the line vacate the title, which we can talk about. Is it's not me in there by myself. I'm truly trying to represent each and every person that has a dream. That's what it is to me. Some people it's the moves, like a Kenny Omega. Some people it's just that intangible, like a John Cena. Some people it's like, you know, Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're the voice of the rebel. For me, I just want to be the people. That's what it is. I want to bring you guys along the journey with me because all the heroes and all the people that we have to aspire to can sometimes be, you know, these perfect pillars. And, you know, I just want you guys to see, you know, I wasn't that perfect guy. You know, I didn't have the athletic background. I didn't have, you know, an athletic bone in my body growing up. I wasn't, you know, the best student of all. I wasn't the, you know, most handsome of all. But I have heart. And, you know, you grow, you make mistakes, you learn, you keep fighting the good fight, you keep acquiring knowledge. You always have a thirst for knowledge and never give up on that. And that's what can make you a champion, is if you just be persistent and just keep trying to shoot for your goals and keep trying to learn. Then you can become the person that you wish to become. Whew. That was that 10 to 15 minute period. That was it right there.
with everything you just said there, I want to rename and make new titles like 8 different things right now. I have so many things I want to call this episode because your words are beautiful, but they're very heartfelt and real. And that's what fucking, I'm sorry. That's what effing means everything.
Oh,
Thank you. Because, again, always speaking to the talent about the sacrifices, the perseverance, what it really takes to succeed as a singles wrestler, as any type of wrestler, any part of the business itself, but especially that in-ring stuff. The sacrifices that are made from the wrestlers themselves are just unfathomable and off the charts. How you guys and girls push your minds more than your bodies to really become a successful wrestler in the business, because I'll always say it, and I say it probably every single time. I feel personally as a fan, a wrestler, and I know there's many other avenues out there, a wrestler is probably one of the hardest and unique things to become and be successful at in any field, really, in any sport, and any job. And I know there's many things out there, but to be a successful wrestler, holy crap, there's a lot of perseverance and a lot of sacrifices and a lot of injuries that we're going to jump into, and things happen in life, but you still have to, like we were speaking before, go through that curtain and take us on that journey. And the ones that do it well, and the ones that stumble do pick themselves up. Not everybody, because some just kind of feel it's a little too much for them or whatever, but the ones that really do stick with it and persevere are the ones that become successful, because that's what it really takes.
Right.
I want to take that energy from when you leave Northeast Wrestling, you take the drive home, you've got the big belt, and did you hold it on the way home? Did you put it in the passenger seat with a seatbelt around it? What did you do with the belt on the way home, first off?
Being completely honest and transparent, I drove back home with both titles on my lap, both the tag team title and both the wrestling heavyweight title. The entire way, and I, safely would glance down at them occasionally, 100 miles, but yeah, I couldn't put them in the bag. I couldn't put them down. The tag title was such a beautiful moment for us as well. But the heavyweight title, the first thing I noticed was this really smells like Dan Maff, and I have to put my own set. When someone holds something for 995 days, it kind of it smells like the person, and he wears, a lot of body oils and stuff. And don't get me wrong, it smelled good. Like, he wears great cologne. Gotta ask him where he gets it from when we're done with our little, back and forth. But it smelled just like the man, and it was hard getting that off. And I'm not sure if I completely got it before I had to, give the championship back. But that belt smelled just like Dan Maff for a long time.
See, now I got a new title. The title smelled like Dan Maff. I mean, oh my goodness, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've held them, you've loved them, you've safely glanced at them on the way home. You get home, you start decompressing a little bit. I had a question from one Joey G. I'm sure you're aware of one Joey G out there as a fan. He was wondering, what were your emotions? What were your feelings once you got home and you were looking at this championship and just taking it in? What were you going through at that point? Because now you've gotten away from all the crowd. You've gotten away from everything. You've taken the drive home. You've lovingly glared at these safely on the way home. But now it's decompress time. We're at Traevon's home. You're kind of taking it all in. You're looking at this championship. What's going through you at that time, my man?
It was pretty late when I got home. So I initially thought, man, I'm kind of tired. I want to go to bed. And then I looked at the titles and I put them on my shoulders. I thought, this is everything I've dreamed of ever since I was young. I have tag title, got a world title, and it's everything I ever dreamed it would be. Both moments were the moments I dreamed they'd be. And it was me tearing up a bunch that night, um, just being happy that I was able to actualize and realize that dream, and make that come true. And had the waves and curls hat on as well too, and was so proud.
Nice.
the 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 team that we've become, and I was proud of the competitor that I had grew into and was able to be trusted and won a top championship. The Northeast Wrestling is historically a very big company within the Northeast, within the independent itself. This belt was the belt that I won was held by the Matt Tavens, the Bam Bam Bigelows. It was held by Cody Rhodes, the Northeast led, the JT Dunns, the Big Bacons, the Flip Gordons, the everyone, has held this belt.
Warbeard Hansen.
Warbeard Hansen. That's it, like such a historical lineage. King Kong Bundy's, that, was it King Kong? I think it was, but yeah, so many historic champions, and to add my name to that lineage is second to none. To be the first champion born after the title was created. And one thing that I really hold with pride is, first African American Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. That's something that can't be taken away. Yeah.
Oh, fun fact, boys and girls. Really?
That's right. That's right.
No kidding. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, absolutely.
And you said trusted. And when you were done, I really wanted to get in a subject before we get into what comes next. Being trusted by the owner of Northeast Wrestling to be the face of One Northeast Wrestling, because the names that they have come through that company is just, mind-boggling. They bring in so many big names, past and present, So that word trusted, I really wanted to touch upon before we got too much further, from the owner of One Northeast Wrestling, having that trust. Please talk to us about that, because that's a lot of weight and a lot of pressure, as we were talking earlier, my friend.
That's a lot of weight and a lot of, as you said, pressure. It was a kind of organic thing how everything developed, kind of like similar to, how Sami Zayn escaping from the bloodline is developing now on television. It was in the vein where I was gaining all this momentum in the fans and I were building such a great relationship together, where the fans were like bringing me to that championship. And when you have a company as prestigious as Northeast Wrestling, you really want your brand to be represented by, someone who you can trust with that, and someone who, can inspire people and who can bring the people in and who can, have the people along the journey with them in the ring. And, that's was one of the things where I couldn't see myself as, I don't know if I can do that. I had mentioned in my championship, relinquishment speech. But the people came and, the love that I gave out, they kept giving it back to me. They kept giving it back in spades, from every which angle, because that's all it's been. It's just giving out love. And they reciprocated that love. And, Northeast Wrestling owners saw that. Lombardi saw that. I was like, okay, let's see what you've got, and gave me that opportunity, which I'll eternally be grateful for. He's done so much for both myself and Jalen Brandon, coming up in this industry where we started out as ring crew. He gave us an opportunity with that, and we did our best at that. We worked the merchandise tables. We worked our asses off, sold as much as we can every single time. We got the in-ring opportunity. We give it our best each and every time. We bring the people in. We have as much fun with them as possible and keep leveling up and earning trust as we go along, and earning, hopefully, earning more respect as things go on, and really building that relationship and trust with him. He's such a fantastic and creative mind, so brilliant. And to hit that okay, here's the championship. Here it is. Here's this championship match. Go win it against Dan Maff. Go prove you can hang with Dan Maff. Okay. I'll do the best that I can. I'll give it my all. I'll put all my heart into it. And each and every time, trying to do my best and giving my everything for him, for the fans, for my family, and to finally be able to, gain that championship. There's a lot that goes into, being a champion, being trusted with something like that. And I'll be eternally grateful, for that moment and for getting there and for getting that.
Did you do the refrigerator thing as one CM Punk did, or did you do a little maybe on a bearskin rug by the fireplace, in a certain position, or did you did you did you do it?
Refrigerator like CM Punk? I didn't do the Playgirl pose like Shawn Michaels. I didn't get any of that. I didn't. Okay. I did cuddle. I did. Took a little nap with the championship.
Yeah. Yes, cuddling and snuggling is definitely appropriate. You have to at least once, right?
That's right. That's what makes you an official champion. A cuddle and a hug of the belt. That's what makes it.
Is that an unwritten rule when you win a heavyweight championship? You have to at least snuggle and cuddle with it at least one evening before you release.
It is for me. And as I was cuddling, I was like, man, this really smells like Maff. It's a little weird. Let me on the other side of it. That's what I did.
Oh my goodness. You didn't have enough for Breeze to cut through that Maff, huh?
Oh, definitely not. Oh no. Oh, we got some strong stone, but it's good smelling, like I said.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Now, you ended up having it for a short time, the heavyweight championship, Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Championship. You only had it for a very short time for a very specific reason. Before we get into that, how many title defenses did you have before you had to, kind of give the baby away?
Relinquishment?
Yes.
I didn't actually get the chance to defend the title. No defenses. Stop. 0 defenses.
Oh.
That's right. I was on my way to my first defense. I was on my way.
Who was your first defense going to be against?
It was going to be Big Bacon, Brad Hollister, who's doing phenomenal. What amazing. That would have been one hell of a test.
Wow.
It's like you one boss, and then they're like, okay, here's another boss for you. It's like,
yeah. Beast in his own right. That I've watched him since like 2016, late 2015-ish. That's when I kind of got in the game, and PvP was my very first company that I jumped into independent wrestling with. So I've seen the Bacons and the Tunises and stuff and doing their thing, and yeah, that Bacon, that dude is a joke.
No joke at all.
We were talking entertainment and all of that. That guy, you can't. Big Bacon is not a guy you mess with at the shows. You can't do a funny ha as a fan with that guy. He's a very serious dude. He's got tunnel vision. He's gonna go kill his opponent. I'm sorry. He's gonna go kill his opponent. And
okay, I've heard it before. They said it about Maff, right? It's fine. Apparently, I'm walking into situations. It's fine with me. Apparently.
Okay, so you have a title defense coming up, but you end up with an injury. What happens? Can you please? And I'm. If it's bad, if it gives you bad vibes or you really don't want to get too deep, you can go as shallow into this subject as you want, my friend.
So
you get injured. What happened here?
Yeah, so I was wrestling and I was doing, a move, something that, we do so many times. It's funny how the injuries happen on the things you do a million times over. But I slipped out of a back suplex, and unfortunately, I came down with all my weight on my right foot and did what's called a Liz Frank dislocation. It's a ligamentous injury, so I dislocated the ligament that goes over your midfoot. So there's the middle of your foot and my ligament detached. So that's what happened. Everything shifted and displaced that joint. At first, just thought it was a sprain, got checked up at a doctor immediately. And like, oh, it's probably just a sprain, just ice it, week, see what happens. If it goes down, if, the pain subsides. It had subsided a little bit, but I noticed I couldn't still put any weight on it. So I went to an emergency room. And from the emergency room, they're like, let me see you walk around a little bit. So I start walking and they notice how I'm hobbling and like, you may have this, let's do some weight bearing x-rays, to see if this is what it is. And the weight bearing x-rays came back, with the positive result that I had a Liz Frank injury, which is a very serious injury. If anyone knows anything about sports, it's a very, very serious injury. Sometimes it can be a season ender. Sometimes it's a career ender for a lot of people. It accounts for 0.1% of all bodily fractures. Like, it's such a rare injury. So I guess if I was going to get injured, I was going to do it and do it big. So that's what I did. And it was, came at a moment where we're doing so many things, so many great things, as our career kept developing, we kept gaining new opportunities. And it's my first major injury I've ever had in my life. I've never broken a bone, never dislocated anything. This is the first time. And I just remember just being so sad that it happened and so disappointed that it turned out that way, initially. It weighs on you, the mental part of the injury, but that's what happened. That's how I got hurt.
Well, thank you for sharing, because sometimes those roads aren't always good to kind of reminisce about. So I do appreciate you sharing with us, the fans. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that.
Of course.
Now, let's get to that mindset, because like I stated way back at the beginning, the physical is one part of it. And obviously you're injured, but the mindset, my man, I almost feel it's a little more than 50-50 here with the mindset. I think it's got to be almost like a 60-40, 70-30 kind of thing, with the mindset being a little bit more than the physicality part of your whole package.
Absolutely.
Definitely feeling away. Am I done? What do I do? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? What do I do next? How long? And I know you're getting numbers from doctors, but you still never know.
No.
Like, your mind is going a million different directions, and it's all probably, I would imagine, pointing more to wrestling career than anything else at this point. Could you take us through a little bit of some of that mindset? Is that all right?
Yeah, we can definitely go on that journey. It was, initially when I heard, broken foot, Liz Frank displacement, I didn't know what it meant. So I asked the doctor a bunch of questions and did a lot of research and saw, how serious it really was of an injury, and, got really disheartened for quite some time. And it took me down a path that I normally don't go down. I was very, upset with myself and very upset at the situation, not at anyone else. I took all the responsibility of it on my own, um, and I was just very upset because, and sad because, Jalen and I had developed this thing with the fans and gotten to so many different places, did things with WWE, we did matches with AEW, going on Beyond Wrestling, GCW, Deadlock Pro Wrestling, doing all this traveling, Wrestling Open, doing all these great things and helping spread waves and curls as far as our reach can go. And I felt all that momentum just stop and halt because I couldn't go forth. That week alone, we were going to have matches on Beyond Wrestling, GCW, DPW, and Live Pro Wrestling. And we had so much, on our calendar. We had, ever since Jalen, because he broke his arm about a year and a half ago, we hit the ground running after that and sprinted. And we said, all right, we're going to do as much as we can and just go, go, go. And develop and become who we were meant to be. And all that just stopped because, I felt like I had let everyone down. I feel like I let Jalen down. I let the fans down. I let the family down. And it really weighs on you, the difficulty of an injury. But, I started searching. I was like, all right, I can't be the only wrestler who's ever had this happen to him. So I looked into it, and actually, Matt Sydal, Evan Bourne, as he was known in WWE, but Matt Sydal in AEW, he had the same exact injury. And I watched one of his matches, a week after I got the diagnosis. And I watched a match of his from AEW that year, years after he got the injury. And I saw he was moving. And I saw, he was still doing his high flying. I saw he was still quick and athletic and agile. And I said, okay, if he can do it, then why can't I do that? If he was able to overcome, then I can overcome as well too. And I look into more Liz Frank recovery stories. I look into everything that I can about, rehabilitation and dieting and nutrition and all these key things that I can do to better myself. I start, reading some books, reading some books again, at my slow pace. I've read like 3, 4 books. I take my time and digest things. It's kind of a thing. My girlfriend, she'll read through 1,000 books in one week, but I digest them. I take my time. Um, but I was like, okay, I can sit and be sad about the injury, which I always allow myself to have that kind of space. Even now, as I'm along in my recovery, you have to give yourself time to mourn and just feel and be emotional. That's okay. But you have to, figure out what's after that. And I said, okay, this gives me time now. As a wrestler, we don't have a lot of time. Our weekends, our free time is taken up with going to shows, traveling, marketing, creating merchandise, selling merchandise, talking to fans, communicating with our fan base, talking to promoters, you know, traveling again, wrestling again. That's every finger. You don't really have time for anything else inside of that. So I said, okay.
And you only get 52 of those weekends.
That's right.
Like as a buildup. And I know you guys are really hard on the road doing the Fridays and Saturdays and maybe sometimes Sundays, or a weekday, doing the Wrestling Open is on Wednesdays, if I'm not mistaken, or Thursdays. So, I mean, there is only 52 chances in a year what you're trying to, do yourself as wrestlers, marketing and all of the things that you just mentioned. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, of course not. But that's what we were. It's literally, with our schedule, we were most weeks going from either Thursday to Sunday or Friday to Sunday. So I didn't have a lot of free time. We were so busy, which I loved it, but it didn't give me the time to really sit and, just be with myself or just be with my family or just, go out on a date with the girlfriend or, spend time at home, spend quality time with friends who I hadn't seen in a long time, because I was wrestling. It gave me a unique opportunity to go, okay, well, I have time now. Why not utilize this time instead of, sitting at home and just moping all the time? Let's have conversations. Let's call someone on the phone. Let's watch a movie, sit and watch movies. Let's read some pages in a book. Let's just do all these things that we don't have time for, or we push to the side. And it was so great to be able to, reprogram myself to try to think positively. I still had moments where, the pain was unbearable. You're on a medication cycle where, you're trying to beat the pain. They gave me a nerve block after surgery. Surgery went successfully. I went under for the surgery. And then after the surgery, they start you on, ibuprofen cycle and start you on a couple of things trying to, get your body going back. But that pain was unlike anything I've ever been through before. And they say the Liz Frank surgery pain is one of the toughest surgeries to recover from. And, to be on the other side of that is truly a blessing, because there were nights where the pain would wake me up from my sleep. Like I would be sleeping quiet as a baby, and then bang, it just comes on. It just shocks me. It shocks my whole system. And you're fumbling, trying to grab the ibuprofen, trying to grab the Tylenol, trying to, make sure you're taking everything at the right time so that you don't overlap this one with this one, because then you'll die. It's really serious stuff where I'm like,
right,
this is a lot to learn and a lot to figure out and navigate. But, I found an online community with a bunch of people who have Liz Frank injuries as well, too. And I joined that community. and was able to talk with those people and get some expert tips and things, and got my trusty iWalk peg leg that I use that helped me be mobile. Find these little small hacks in trying to really navigate the injury in the most comfortable and perfect way possible. So it was and still is, as I'm in the process of relearning, to walk and walk pain free. It's quite the journey, and you never know what the day, what hour to hour will hold. So you do your best, living second to second, minute to minute, hour to hour.
Where are we at on a timeline from where you got injured to where we're speaking right now?
So injury happened early November. Surgery happened late November. I just was cleared to take the boot off on Monday of this week. So
Excellent,
yeah,
excellent.
thank you very much. So now we're in sneakers and we can walk unassisted, which is great. Every now and again, we got to pick the crutches back up because we're relearning and everything. So the crutches help, with stability and whatnot. But we are very far along. And as I said, I have, stir in the pot announcement that I do have one more surgery to go.
Okay.
That will be happening in late March, and we will be removing all the hardware from the foot. So there will be nothing that inhibits the mobility. I'll be able to come back and be that same Traevon Jordan that you know and love. Everything will return and we will be dancing and partying a lot sooner than you might think.
Well, first off, congratulations, my man. We applaud the recovery. We know it's a big, persevering in wrestling is one thing, but persevering through injury is a totally different animal. And congratulations. And I look forward to that day where you can share your pictures and such post March 4th, did you say?
Yes.
Okay. Because again, I stalk your page. I mean, I follow your page and stuff. So I'll be on the lookout for such stuff and whatnot, because I know you enjoy giving us updates and whatnot. And thank you so much for making that announcement on STP. I was kind of scared on what you were going to be bringing us. I wasn't sure, my friend.
Oh yeah, no, all positive, all good things,
Yeah, okay.
Or or anything like that, we're still kicking. We're gonna be back very soon.
Excellent news. Hear that, boys and girls? Our Traevon is almost coming back home, baby. That's good stuff.
That's right. That's right. I'm on my way.
That whole journey that you just took us on, my man, opening up, bringing, just like at wrestling, you're bringing us with you. Thank you so much for that. Again, not everybody opens up like that. So I appreciate that. And I know I just gave you a little bit of love, but I kind of want to spin back to something because there was a picture that I saw with my eyes.
Oh boy.
And it looked like, I don't know if I didn't rub my eyes enough, but it seemed that it was real. It looked like that the former Northeast Wrestling heavyweight champion, one Dan Maff, was at bedside while you were at the hospital with a bedpan, maybe, and stuff.
Yeah.
Did he make a visit live? And if he did he hit you with that bedpan thing like the old Stone Cold? Like, what's going on with that picture, please, sir?
Yeah, he came in the room live, and I took the bedpan, and it was full, and I threw it at him and Vito, and then they both left the room. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, sir.
Absolutely.
The key words: the bedpan was full. That is beautiful. Yes.
I took Austin's advice, and I went a step further. I had to fill the bedpan.
Take that, Vito. I do not like that veto at all, sir. No, none whatsoever. I want to rewind just a little bit before we go ahead here to, the relinquishment. And I know we've been on this championship talk, and I hate to break it up, but AEW Dark comes to mind and such. That yourself and Jalen had the honor and privilege to go down to Florida, be on some TV
Yeah.
tapings over there, if I'm not mistaken, and have some fun with some AEW. Please talk to us, the fans. The excitement, the feelings. If I'm not mistaken, weren't you there more than one time? You made a return. Again, if I'm not mistaken, please take us on that journey before we get to back to Northeast.
A bunch of times now. It's hard to even count them, but it's always an amazing opportunity whenever you get that call to head on down to AEW. Um, there's always so much to learn there. There's always people willing to give out knowledge, and you're able to get feedback, and on what you can improve and how you can better, which is always great. Everyone's always so respectful when you're backstage there. Everyone's so kind and courteous, and it's a real great environment where you just feel as if they don't exclude you. You're meant to feel included, and everything's so inclusive over there. And it's really a great environment where I can see talent are thriving, and it's really good to just be a part of that, even if it's just for a day when you go down there, just to feel important to something, or to be a part of such a major organization such as AEW. We get excited whenever we get that chance and that opportunity. That's somewhere we feel we can make a home for ourselves. Because it's such a great young company. And it's one of the top organizations in the world. What that's the dream in and of itself. That's what we're in this for, to be there, to be at the grandest stage, to be there, at AEW is indescribable. It's your dreams come true and more. So it's always a good time. It's always fun. And then we got to finally, we had a match against the Gates of Agony with Fuego del Sol as our 6-man tag team partner. And being able to walk down the entrance ramp for the first time in itself was mind blowing in itself. It's something you dream about, all the time. And, we make our entrance all the time, but to be on that stage was second to none. That moment, and then the match we had with FTR, having, them walk down to the ring and we're standing in the ring waiting for them. It's second to none. Can't wait to have that match again with FTR, putting that out in the universe again. It's time to have that rematch. We've learned a lot since our last encounter, so it's always a great time at AEW. Always.
Getting the call, if you will, making these returns, getting the call. That's got to give you something right here in the old pride, because they see something.
Yeah.
Look at a guy like in our area, one George All, where and I almost hate calling him George All because I just love him as his old name, and it just pains me just a smidge. It really does, to call him George All, because I always want to call him his previous name, but I don't want to get taxed. We don't want that on STP.
We don't want that.
But my point being is seeing your peers in our area, seeing your peers that even across the country and throughout New England and stuff, seeing them on that stage, and then you getting on that stage. Are you running into some of your peers that personally from our area at all when you're on the AEW Darks? Because we've seen the Lucas Chase and all of that.
Yeah, I see all of them all the time. The people who have gone on to hold contracts with the major organizations, or the people who are still on the independents with me. You'll see people all the time, and it's like nothing changes. They're still the same people. A bunch of individuals, I look up to, such as, my trainer, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, Vinny Marcellia, my trainer, Christian Casanova, who's doing his thing as Carmelo Hayes, Anthony Green, who's over in NOAH right now, George Joel, as you had said, so many people who I looked up to, and, who were doing the best things on all the shows that I was on, who were really, becoming one with the crowd and really standing out amongst the pack. They're the ones who are, excelling and thriving right now, which is amazing to see. How can you not feel joy for that? And how can you not feel inspired by all those people who were in this area, who went on to such high heights and, did great things? Carmelo Hayes, winning all these championships. Taven, main evented Madison Square Garden, Anthony Green's over in No and was just in the Tokyo Dome. Like these things can't happen, you know. And all you have to do is put the work in and keep working hard. So I know if we just keep pushing, you know, as soon as I come back from the injury, just like we came back hitting the ground running, we're gonna hit the ground running. Maybe I'll run a little bit slower at first, but I'll pick up the speed eventually. Years ago, everything was off. Maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit. We're coming back and coming back strong. That's for sure.
Um, I, I I have two favors, but I'm only going to ask you one here.
Yeah.
George All just did a promo, and his tag team partner slips my mind for some reason. He just did a promo very recently, and he spoke Hindu, I believe is the correct pronunciation. I can't understand a damn thing he's saying. Could you please just ask one George All, look into the camera, and tell us his message? He could do both. I'm not saying he can't do the Hindu. Please give us.
I think they did a little subtitles now, don't they? They put the little subtitle on the bottom.
Maybe I didn't see it. Maybe I wasn't paying attention to the bottom. I don't know. Usually I will catch that.
You got to get those captions going, Kincaid.
Okay. I didn't know a damn thing he said, and I was like, I'm standing here and I'm looking at the TV and I'm like, what is he saying? I can't understand. What is he saying? I can't understand. So yeah.
To the people, we got to get the closed captions going for you.
So yeah, that was that. Let's swing back now. Northeast Wrestling Championship, heavyweight championship. You're feeling the championship. You get injured. You don't get to make a title defense. You figure out what's going on. You had a visit at the hospital by one Vito and Dan Maff. You got the old full bedpan splashed in their face. Thank you so much. Now, things got to happen with this championship because you can't have an injured champion just all willy-nilly holding it at his house and trying to get better. So what do they do in wrestling? You got to give it up. So could you kind of talk to us about that a little bit? And I know it's going to probably hurt your heart a little bit. So you don't have to go too deep if you don't want to. Please, sir.
We'll get into it. So we, held off a little bit on just, vacating the title. Just to see, the extent of the injury, see if I'd be able to defend the title. I think it was on December 18th at Holiday Havoc for Northeast Wrestling. But, came to show the foot was broken. Can't defend on a broken foot. So they came up with the idea for a tournament of champions. All the past champions, or some past champions from Northeast Wrestling, would fight in a tournament for the heavyweight championship. But in order for them to fight for it, I have to vacate the championship, which is a very hard thing to do, You started at the base of the mountain. You climb, you get the gold, and then you knocked and rolled all the way to the bottom. So, I didn't want to just send the championship in the mail or just send it with Jalen to the show. I wanted to go and talk to the people. I want it with the people. I'll give it back to the people. And I spoke with them that night and just really aired from the heart and just let them know they're the ones who got me there. And I couldn't have done it without them, which still is true to this day. And to let them know that I'm going to, return to the championship and return to them first and foremost. And we'll get back to the championship no matter what, because we are still the Northeast Wrestling champion in our hearts, and we will reclaim that. But I knew that someone had to win the championship. But before we even go into that, I had spoken with all the fans, and they were telling me, to feel better and get better. And, the little fan I was talking about, Lillian, we know her since she was 4 years old. I had, called her over because her dad had sent me a letter that she had wrote, to me. And, it was, nothing too crazy. She was just, tell me like about her day at school or something. But then at the bottom, she had wrote, I love Waves and Curls. Waves and Curls are the best, you guys are awesome. And I told her, that letter is what's going to inspire me throughout my recovery. And each and every fan is what's going to inspire me throughout their recovery. And they did. And she had said something I couldn't hear. I was like, wow, what'd you say, Lily? And I put the microphone to her and she said, I said, you guys, all these fans, make me the person that I am. And then I gave her the microphone. She said, "You deserve to be the person who you are." And, that made me tear up. From the mouth of a child, from the mouth of a child, you can move so many hearts. So those words have all been the inspiration for my recovery. And, even with giving up the title, I knew we'll get it back one day. But, the winner of the Tournament of Champions, I stayed there the whole night and I was able to pass the championship on to the next champion.
Okay.
That man being the man who had to vacate the championship 7 years ago because of an injury, similar to my story. That man being the man who trained me, that man being the trend Matt Taven. And what a full circle moment, He has to relinquish due to injury. He has his comeback story and he gets back to the championship. And I give him the championship that I have to relinquish because of my own injury. What? You can't make this stuff up,
You would have never, ever in a trillion years written it like that, ever.
No, not at all. Not at
Because
all.
there's so many question marks on taking the path in wrestling. And here you are, you start at the Kingdom training facility, and now you're over here years later, and you're handing Papa Taven the Northeast Wrestling Championship. And that, and I know you said full circle, but holy, the hairs, my friend, just by speaking the names and the envisioning, it just had to be something pretty wild. Out of everybody in the entire wrestling industry, Papa Taven. Are you kidding?
That's right. I know. Insane.
And speaking of Papa Taven, I just want to. Do you see that mask up there, right there?
Oh, there's Uncle Vinny right there.
That is
That's Uncle Kennedy.
I bought that in an online auction. Okay, that is the OG Uncle Vinny mask from when he, I believe, was in ROH and was starting to present that. That look, that's the OG. It's a hard. It's like a casted, a molded of something. It's not no chintzy replica or nothing, and it's signed by Vinny himself. Put a little red rum on it for me. Yeah, it was beautiful. Such a beautiful piece. I love that. Now you relinquish it to Papa Taven. He is now the current, and he's been doing some things over there at Northeast Wrestling himself. Working back in the saddle at Northeast Wrestling. Holy cow. Excuse me. So you relinquish the belt, you give it to Papa Taven. Now you're watching from a distance everything that's going on at Northeast Wrestling. You're still recovering, you're still rehabbing, you're still just taking in what's going on and everything post injury.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling right now? Mindset. Let's talk mindset still, because you've taken us on a big emotional roller coaster here in your life. And at this point, and I know March 4th is right around the corner, how are you feeling right now, my man? Please give us a little bit of insight on where Traevon is.
Feeling really good, Yes. Had a moment, a few weeks ago before the doctor's appointment where I was a little down, not really knowing, how much time I had left on the injury or if I could even, make the recovery, because I was having so many difficult days. You have those days in injury where you're just like, I don't know if I have it in me. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can, take another step or make any more progress. I think this is it. But then something within me said, don't quit. Keep fighting. Doing your stretches. Keep doing your exercises. You can make it. Don't worry about anything. And that voice calmed me and was able to, help me get to where I am now, where I'm walking again by myself and ready to go, ready to get back into wrestling. There was a moment during the injury where I couldn't even watch wrestling because it made me I felt homesick, legitimately homesick, because I couldn't be there, And I love seeing all my peers and friends thrive in my absence, but I want to be there with you guys, I want to be a part. I want to be there with the fans, but I can't. So I'm in a really good place. I'm going back and visiting shows again, going to hang out and see fans and really, making sure everyone's good. So I'm in a really great place to finalize this recovery and to really make that final push and just get back. So everything's feeling great.
That is excellent, excellent news, Traevon. We, the
Thank
fans,
you.
and I'm sure your peers are absolutely stoked to hear this, man. I can't wait for this episode to be put out because there is so much that we've talked about. We are at 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 56 seconds.
All
And it
right.
only feels like we've been talking about maybe a half hour or so. But
Yeah.
we have talked so much of your journey and talked so many different topics. But the main focus, really, I wanted to kind of keep a theme, a trend. See what I did there? A trend, if you will, on the mindset, because injury to an athlete really sends you down these crazy rabbit holes.
It
And
does.
to see and hear you in a great place at this point, I am absolutely beyond stoked for you. I can't wait till you get back into that environment and the fans do their thing and you do your thing with Jalen.
That's right.
And speaking of one Mr. Jalen, Northeast Wrestling, I don't did the event already happen with the Waves and or is that coming up?
Yeah, it just happened. It just
Okay.
recently happened.
The current Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Champions are Waves and Curls, as we were spoke way back when.
That's
And
all right.
Jalen had to pick up a partner, or I would imagine relinquish the
Mhm.
belts, right? That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
So Jalen gets a partner. I wasn't aware of this trio that you speak of because
Mhm.
now, and I know this guy, now it's not Waves and Curls, Boys and Girls. It threw me for a loop because when I seen the picture, I seen the name, I'm like, wait, what's going on here? One Encore More. Oh my goodness, this dude is nothing
Yep.
but entertainment and energy and
That's right.
and in-ring ability and athleticism. And he's
Yeah,
gorgeous too. He's absolutely gorgeous.
he is.
Now it's Waves and Braids as
That's
a
right.
tag
Wait.
team
Mhm.
holding the ship together. Now that you did mention that that match has already come and gone, could you give us the results?
Oh yeah, and still
And
the reigning Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Champions, Waves
Waves and
and Braids.
Braids. Yeah,
That's right.
I love saying it. That is so. That's because I'm just so used to saying waves and curls. It's just a little fun. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and if we could, I know I've been talking to you for a while here, but before we do let
Mhm.
you go, you were talking about this trio. It's
That's
really
right.
not just a tag team, Kincaid. You said there's a trio, and
That's right.
most people don't realize that. Uh, what the hell? And where did this come from? And how come I haven't seen much of this trio that you speak of
There's
yourself,
a few, we
Jalen
we we
Brandon, and Encore Moore?
Waves and Curls, we love trios matches, and there's a few people that we call on whenever we need trio situations. Um, so you got Waves and Curls. That's the main tag team, of course. That's me and Jalen. We're like this. We're like this all the time, every day. That's my boy. We're our main tag partners. But we do our trios matches where we got to knock on a friend. Um, Waves and Curls and Braids. That's our combination, our trio with Encore More. So, we called on and Jalen was able to choose Encore More to step in, as our Waves, Curls, and Braids brethren. He stepped in and filled in the role that I had to vacate and became the Northeast Wrestling Tag Team Champion, which is amazing. We tagged together over at Beyond Wrestling as the trio. That's where our trio was established. Good old
Okay.
Waves, Curls, and Breaks. That's what we do over there. And now, it's moving a little bit over where we're at now with Northeast. He's got the championship and holding it down for us. So salute to Encore, more phenomenal talent, as you said. He's doing great things and he'll wear the championship well. So yeah, and if you'd like, you can know about the other trios that we got too. Waves and Curls is a beautiful thing. There's Waves
Oh,
and Curls. That's me and Jalen. There's
okay.
Waves, Curls, and Braids. That's us with
Okay.
Encore More. There's Waves and Curls and even more Curls. That's us with Willow Nightingale. That's
Oh.
the trio. That's
With my that's so
that's
cute. Okay, go ahead.
Curls. And then of course, you have what I like to call the NG3, New Generation Kingdom. But that's our unofficial name. But it's
Okay.
of course me and my training brothers, me, Jalen, Brandon, and Love Doug. That's the trio right there. That's
Oh my
that
God, I
that
love
that's
Love Dog.
yep. So that's we've trios together a bunch of times. So yeah, whenever
Wow.
we need to have someone tag in for a trios match, those are our three where we know they got our back no matter what. So they always sub in whenever we need them. Willow, she's busy. She's doing a lot of great things over at AEW. Shout out to Willow
Yeah.
Nightingale. All her
Yeah.
things. AEW, ROH, and Doug's killing it as a tag team wrestler in his own right. Shot through the heart. Shout out to them. They won their
Yeah.
chaotic tag team wrestling tag team championship. So Encore Moore, we had to knock on brother's door, and he came in phenomenally. So
Nice.
shout out to
Very,
Encore Moore. Shout out to those two. Defend those championships with pride. Yeah.
very cool. Just to reiterate, we have waves and curls and braids.
Yep.
We have waves and curls and more curls.
Waves and curls and even more curls.
Oh, and even more curls. Okay. And then we
Correct.
have waves and curls and
You can say love. Waves, curls, and love.
waves, curls, and love. Okay. All right.
That's right.
And I love all of those three talents to pieces. I've never met personally Willow Nightingale, but I've
Mm.
seen Love Dog live a bunch of times. We've spoken and
Yep.
such.
Yeah.
And Encore Moore, great guy. Wow, you guys, you have a relationship with some fine talent and make some fine trios, my man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. One big happy family. That's what it is right there.
Oh wow. Um, Now your beautiful smile, your
Oh,
beautiful
thank you.
words. We've had such a fine conversation. I could talk to yourself, for hours and hours, but you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't need that kind of stuff in your life right now. Okay.
It is eating time. It's ready to. It's time to eat, as one would say.
Now I'm gonna have to really sift through this thing because I want to title this thing 30,000 different things of what you said, and I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do now. But there's so many titles. Maybe you can narrow something down for me. Is there anything that you remember that you said that you would like to call this episode besides the title smells like Dan Moff, or because I'm there's 1,000
I,
things I could call this.
I think that's the one that stood out the most to me. If you want to go and find a different snippet, you can go on ahead and do that. But I think that's the one that stood out the most.
Okay. Oh, Dan Moff, please don't kill me. That's going to be fantastic. Man, boys and girls, what a great time. Not only what a great time did we have and hanging out with Mr. Traevon Jordan, but he
Mhm.
was open. He was intimate with his life, his injury, his journey to the heavyweight championship over at Northeast Wrestling, beating a 30,000-ton monster of one Dan Moff. I just never know how to describe this guy because he's just so impressive. And
Yeah.
um, but boys and girls, I felt all the love, all the positivity, all the just that waves and curls feeling throughout this whole conversation that we've had with one Traevon Jordan. Is there anything that I haven't touched upon that maybe was important? And he even shared some beautiful news about March 4th, boys and girls. I mean, come on. But is there anything I haven't touched upon that maybe we should before we let you go?
No, I think we've hit everything. I think we've got it
We,
all.
yeah, we covered quite a bit of topic there, if you will.
That
Um,
we
now my second favor that's going to come post. We'll get to that. I know. I mentioned two favor. We'll get to that. uh, Traevon, you have been an absolute gem, hanging with us, sharing your story, taking us on a beautiful journey over the past few months of your life, and I cannot thank you for first coming on and saying yes. That's always a plus. Giving me a yes, but really just kicking back and being intimate with us, the fans. Thank you so much for all of that. You're a beautiful person, my man.
Thank you, Kincaid. Always a pleasure chopping it up with you. Like I said, you were my very first podcast. So if I'm going to restart the journey, I'm going to restart it here with you and do it the right way. So thank you so much. I'm glad to see you back, hopping in, stirring the pot once again. Keep doing it. Keep thriving. No matter what's going on, you keep that smile going, man. You keep that positive outlook and that Kincaid energy that only you can bring. I appreciate talking the conversation. Hope to see you coming back to shows soon. Take your time, do what you need to do, heal, and do whatever you need to do. But remember, you're always welcome and always needed wherever Waves and Crows may be. Wherever we are, come through. Hey, it's okay to
Don't
cry.
make me cry.
It's all right to cry. It's okay.
I went to a show not that long ago because this guy, it was just like maybe 2 weeks ago, I want to say. This guy, he got in the ring. The stripes came off and he got in the ring. And he got himself a tag team partner being One Bull Dread. And they went against the likes of Hustle and Muscle, one Jay Bricks, and one Richard E. Stone. And boy, what a hootenanny that was, let me tell you. But I haven't been to a show in quite a few months, and I just had to go see this go down. So a couple weeks ago, I went and saw that. But this Saturday being tomorrow night, and I might as well plug it because, hey, we're all about plugs when it comes to wrestling. Tomorrow night, right in my hometown, Bristol, Connecticut, we've got Tetsu Pro Wrestling coming in. It's going to be their second show ever. They had their debut last month. They brought in almost 200 people, right? Just shy of 200. This is their second show, and it's right at the Bristol Armory on Center Street. And the caveat, my friend, they don't bring a regular ring. My man, the promoter, he brings in a 6-sided ring, and it's just a little bit different. And boy, is it some fun. So I'm doing that tomorrow night. I'm getting my ass out of the house. I'm getting out of my own head. We've had a beautiful conversation. Traevon has lifted me tonight, my friends. And we're going to Tetsu, and we're going to go have ourselves some fun. Please join me. I'll be down there with Papa Kincaid. We're going to have a blast. Little plug for Tetsu, sorry. But it's all wrestling, my man. We have had a fantastic time with you. I know we're going to let you go. And before we do, I want the people to be able to find Waves and Curls, Traevon Jordan, Jalen, Brandon, even the likes of your cohorts as a trios. Please give us any information you want, your YouTube, your Pornhub, whatever you've got going on. Share with us, the fans, please.
Absolutely. You can find me on both Twitter and Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at Trey Keep Dancing. That's TRAEKEEP Dancing. You can find me on the Facebook. Just search up Traevon Jordan. You can find my tag team partner, one Jalen Brandon, at Jalen Brandon on both Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. That's JAYLENBRAYND. And I think I spelled that right. If I didn't, don't worry. Just type in JAYLEN and it'll just come up. You can find the tag team at Waves and Curls TT on the Twitter machine. And you can find Encore on Twitter because we got the Waves, Curls, and Braids. You can find him at Encore Showtime on the Twitter machine and Encore the Entertainer over on the Instagram. And you know what? I'll even throw the Love Doug in there. Why not show Doug some love? He's at LoveDoug_. And of course, you should already be following Willow Nightingale if you're not following Willow Nightingale. What's wrong with you? That's cool, right? But you should. So that's everybody. Thank you guys so much. Follow Northeast Wrestling. Follow Wrestling Open, Beyond Wrestling, and make sure you watch Stirring the Pot with my man Don Kincaid.
This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and our very special guest, one Traevon Jordan. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you for having me, Kincaid. Always a pleasure. See you later.